special pork chops. How are you today? This is Mrs. Rodriguez, and I'm here to talk to you about something new today. Today we're going to talk about statistics. And statistics, you probably have heard that word before, but hopefully you will get some better understanding as to what exactly statistics is talking about. So we're going to start by discussing statistics, and we're going to, in our notes book, nice fresh page in our notes book, we're going to write the heading intro, that's short for introduction to statistics. Okay, so today is our introduction, and so I think we probably have to cover a little bit of vocabulary. One of the things that you need to understand is, what is statistics? So, statistics is the study of collecting, analyzing, and presenting data. So statistics is its own special little subsection of mathematics. And when you get up into college, you have specific classes that you might take that are on statistics and not any other kind of math necessarily. It's mostly just about statistics. And people that use statistics in their careers are people like people that call up and take a poll and ask a survey of people, and then they add all the responses into their data, and then they can tell you who the person might most likely want to vote for, or what kind of food people in the South might like to eat, and they can do that all because of the responses to the questions. All right, so we know what statistics are now. Now we need to talk about what is data. Data is a word that as a teacher, I use it all the time. But as a student, you guys probably don't use it that much. When I talk about data as a teacher, I usually talk about student data. So you know how I have you guys take those check-in tests, and they're kind of like benchmark tests? Well, I track your scores. I don't just track your score from the score last time that you got. I also track your scores in comparison with the rest of the class. So when I look at all of those scores and I really analyze the data, I can see a lot of information just by looking at it. For instance, I can look at a benchmark test and tell if I need to review something more deeply with you guys, and so then I can create another lesson so that I can review stuff with you. I can also, sometimes if I see that a lot of people in the class missed one specific answer, then I know I probably didn't teach that area or that subject very well, and so I need to do something with my teaching. I need to fix something so that I can do it better for you guys. So sometimes it's things that you're not doing, sometimes it's things that I'm not doing, sometimes it's amazing data and I'm like, woohoo, we're all doing great. But that's what data does. It's so helpful. So as a teacher, I use it, but you can also use it if you track your scores and see how you're doing. And lots of other careers use data. So data is a collection of facts or measurements, or values. Okay, so then the next really important vocabulary term is a statistical question. So, when we talk about a statistical question, we have to think about it as different from a normal question. For instance, a normal question might be for me to ask you, how are you today? And you're going to give me an answer. And that answer is the truth for you, no matter what. It's not going to change. Someone else could ask you that question 2 minutes later, and it's unless something dramatic happens, it's not going to change. Your answer is still going to stay the same. For instance, I could ask one of my teaching partners, Miss Smith, what color is your car? And she would tell me that her car is red. And then tomorrow, someone else might ask her, what color is your car? And guess what her answer is still going to be? It's still going to be red. So that's a normal question. Here's a statistical question. A statistical question is a question where you expect to get a variety of answers. Remember, if I'm writing, you're writing. I'm not making these notes just because I think they're cool. I'm making these notes to help you learn. Okay, so a variety. Notice I underlined the word variety. Remember, the word variety means that there's all different kinds of something. For instance, there are a variety of fruit in the produce section at the grocery store. There's apples and there's oranges and there's bananas. So variety means a lot of different. So it's a question where you expect to get a variety of answers. And you are interested in the distribution of those answers. So, for instance, I might ask a group of students, what is your favorite fruit? And I'm interested to know how many students are going to say bananas are their favorite fruit. How many students are going to say apples? How many students are going to say watermelon? Or how many students are going to say kumquats are their favorite fruit? So I'm interested in finding that out. For some reason, maybe I am a produce seller and I want to know that I have the fruit that most people are going to like and I'm going to sell a lot of it. Whereas if everybody tells me that they don't really like oranges and I'm stocking a lot of oranges, odds are they're probably going to go bad. So I really want to make sure that I'm asking questions that are going to guide what I'm going to do in the future. So that's one of the reasons why we would ask a statistical question. Okay, so examples of a statistical question. And then just a normal survey question. Okay. What fruit do a lot of people enjoy? So what fruit do a lot of people enjoy? That's a statistical question, because in order to answer that question, I've got to ask different people, I've got to collect a variety of answers, and I can compile it into data. So a survey question, and usually a survey question is what you ask an individual person. A survey question might be, what is your favorite fruit? So notice that the survey question, you're just going to ask one person that question, and no matter what, if they're telling the truth, if I ask you what's your favorite fruit and you tell me the truth and your favorite fruit is a banana, if I ask you again in 10 days, odds are then you're going to say the same answer. You're going to say banana again. When the answer is not going to give you a lot of variety, it's a survey question. If you can ask, if you're going to ask a question of a lot of people that will give you a lot of different answers, you get a lot of variety, that's your statistical question. Okay, so here is another example. Another example is, how much do 6th graders weigh? Okay, so that is a statistical question, because in order to know how much 6th graders, notice there's that S there too, weigh, how much do 6th graders weigh, I would have to ask a bunch of 6th graders, wouldn't I? And if I ask a bunch of 6th graders, odds are I'm going to get a bunch of different weights. I'm going to get a variety of weights. And so by getting that variety of weights, I'm going to have to use those different weights to get an answer. And I'll show you how we would do that later. Maybe not with this specific question, but you have to gather the data. And so a statistical question is going to help you gather the data. The survey question would be, how much do you weigh? So again, if you were being honest with me, and I would never ask you this, but if you were being honest with me and I asked you, how much do you weigh? And let's just say you said, I'll just use a round number like 50. You said 50 pounds. I weigh 50 pounds. I'm not going to get a different answer from you tomorrow. I mean, you might weigh 50 pounds and 1 ounce. You could gain an ounce overnight or something. But I'm not going to get generally a different answer. Or if Mrs. Smith asks you that same question, she's going to get the same answer. No matter who asks you, it's always going to be the same answer until you actually grow. And then in that case, I would probably ask you again because some time would go by. So remember that when you're talking about a specific person answering a specific question, that is a survey question. But when we're talking about a bunch of people answering a question and you can get different answers, that is a statistical question. So it's more like a scientific question, okay? Alrighty, guys, that is our lesson for today. Hopefully it wasn't too painful, and hopefully you took good notes. You do have an activity to practice with to identify statistical questions and survey questions, and I will see you for our next lesson.